All right, I'm the Flat Rate Master, and today we're talking, well, the business of auto repair. So, anytime pay comes up in a video, I always get well, back in the day, they paid 50% of the door rate. Well, reality is, that's not happening anymore, and we're gonna talk about why. All right, first thing, back in the day, property was a lot cheaper. You know, auto shops were relegated to cheaper chunks of property and they weren't that expensive. Nowadays, it's a little different. Like literally right now, I'm standing in a couple $1 million building that was built in the 40s. Yeah, this building is worth a couple $1 million. Is it a spectacular building? No. Literally built in the 40s. The main part of this building was built in the 40s. If you think about it, that's a lot of expenses that happens before the doors even roll up. It's an expensive proposition just to get in a building, whether you lease it or own it. I'm gonna tell a story. I had an accountant and her husband was getting some work done on his truck and they were going over the bill, you know, nothing real major, it had already been sold. And she made the comment that she wished her husband, who did carpentry, could get $85 an hour. And I was like, I wish I got paid $85 an hour too. Because, yeah, I didn't. I owned a shop. I had rent, I had insurance, I had information, I had scan tool updates, all those things that come along with owning a business. Now let's talk about the big one, payroll. If you aren't familiar with it, payroll expenses are a huge part of what it costs to run an auto repair shop. If you take your door rate, whatever you make an hour, be it flat rate, be it salary, be it hourly, and at least take half of it and add it on top, and that's just their costs on you. That's just unemployment insurance. That's their contribution to Social Security. There's a ton of expenses that come with that payroll. It's not just the door rate they pay you. There's a lot of associated costs that back in the day wasn't there. You know, Uncle Sam trying to get his cut on things. You have to take into account that your payroll is actually not the final cost of what it costs to have you there. There's a lot of additional costs. Add in any sort of benefits like, well, vacation time. They don't get any productivity out of you during their vacation. It costs money. Health insurance or any other benefits they add, that's added on top of your payroll. One of the things I have to take into account with at this shop is I get full paid health insurance, and doesn't cost me anything, but it's part of my benefits package, so it's part of my income no matter what. So, and if you priced out health insurance, you know, it's really expensive. Then you've got all the other expenses. You've got all the utilities. You've got property insurance. You've got just general liability insurance for garage keepers. If you've ever priced out garage keepers insurance, it's really expensive. All those expenses add up. So when you look at a door rate of a shop, be it whatever it is, a chunk of that is eaten up just by expenses. And if you've ever taken management courses in shop management, you know that in an ideal world, the labor that's charged out is actually supposed to cover all of your overhead, and the owner's income is supposed to come from part sales. Now in reality, that doesn't always happen. A lot of times labor sales and a chunk of part sales team up to handle the cost of doing business. And a lot of people unfortunately don't understand that that is a huge part of owning a business, is the cost of doing business. Not to be crude, but every shop owner should know their daily cost, what it costs to turn the key and open the door, what they have to generate just to break even. That's an important number for every shop owner to know, because if you don't know what it costs you to just open the doors and have everything open for the day, how are you going to know anything? Unfortunately, from a tech's perspective, we don't look at it that way. It's just human nature. But if you look at it from the business owner, he has to make a certain amount of money to live too, and a lot of those expenses that he has as far as overhead are fixed. If you're on hourly or salary, he has fixed labor costs. Whatever you make and all the other employees make for that day is part of his cost. Flat rate's a little differently because, which is one of the advantages and disadvantages of if you work on it, is if you don't generate any income, you don't generate any costs. You can complain about it, but the fact of the matter is if you're on flat rate, you can either make really good money or sit on your butt and not make anything. And obviously your mileage will vary on flat rate, so. But anyway, I hope you understand a little more about doing business and the costs associated with doing business, because there are massive costs with just opening a shop's door. The old joke is, you want to make a small fortune in auto repair, start with a large one. As always, thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.